Hi, my name is Miguel Angel Lopez. Sorry for the delay, but I have a bit of a hectic week, as you can see. And for this reflection, I explored the issue of runaway incursion in aviation. What stood out to me was how something that happens off the ground can be used as dangerous as something that happens in the air. I choose this issue because airports are busy, fast-moving environments, and even a small mistake involving an aircraft, a vehicle, or even a person entering the wrong runway area can create a serious safety risk. So a specific issue I focus on was runway rates. This happens when an aircraft, vehicle, or person is on a runway when they should not be there. At first, this seems like a simple safety issue, but it really isn't it. The more I thought about it, the more I realized it can happen for a lot of different reasons, like communication problems, poor visibility, confusing airport layouts, fatigue, or just human error. One thing I realized was that aviation safety is not only about preventing accidents in the air, it is also about preventing dangerous situations on the ground before takeoff or landing even happens. So this makes sense. My proposal was to strengthen runway safety regulations, especially at airports with heavier traffic. I suggested better ground movement technology, clearer runway signage and lighting, and more standardized recurring training for pilots, air traffic controllers, and airport vehicle operators. At first, I thought the answer was mainly more training, but then I realized training by itself is not enough. People can still make mistakes, especially under pressure. So I think regulations should create multiple layers of protection instead of depending on only of individual performance. The two traits of categories I prioritized most were safety and implementation. I prioritized safety because aviation leaves very little room for error, especially on active runways where timing matters so much. Like this really matters. I also prioritize implementation because our regulation has to work in airport real operations, not just sound good on paper. That's where the trade-off becomes important. The two categories I was more willing to compromise on were cost and efficiency. Better technology, more training, and infrastructure improvements can be expensive and they can slow operations during the transition. I thought that it was acceptable because the cost of a serious runway event will be much greater. It's easy to demand more safety, but every change affects something else. In this case, I think some extra cost and some short-term loss of efficiency are acceptable if they significantly reduce the chance of a catastrophic event. The chatbot helped me think more deeply because it pushed me past my free reaction, and the more I thought about it, the more I saw the complexity. At first I was more focused on safety, but the conversation pushed me to also think about cost, operation challenges, and the fact that not every airport has the same level of traffic or resources. So for me, the real question became what trade-offs are acceptable. That helped me make my proposal more realistic instead of just idealistic. To support my ideas, I used this chatbot discussion. Screenshot from that conversation on general aviation safety comes from the course material. The screenshots helped me show how my thinking became more specific and more balanced over time. So, in overall, this activity helped me understand that creating aviation laws and regulations is really a balancing process. Safety is the priority, but cost efficiency and implementation still matters too. It is about creating the most rational and effective one for the aviation system. This is all what I got. Thank you so much for your time.